day workshop on development of knowledge on animal welfare science and ethics organized by the Department of Pharmacology, Liber Autonomous and sponsored by the Committee for Control and Supervision of Experiments on Animals, CCSEA. This workshop aims to build awareness and promote responsible conduct in animal experimentation, focusing on ethical and welfare considerations in animal research, teaching methods in animal ethics, guidance on farm bee filling and IAEC review process, exploring alternatives to animal experimentation, fostering interdisciplinary collaboration among educators, researchers, and ethicists. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Y. Padmanabh Reddy Sir, Principal, Raghavendra Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, onto the dais. Welcome, sir. Now, I would like to invite convener of the program, Dr. K. Somasekhar Reddy Sir, Professor, Head Department of Pharmacology, right onto the dais. Now, I would like to invite Dr. K. Vinod Kumar Sir, Administrative Officer, onto the dais. Now, I would like to invite Dr. B. Uma Maheshwar Rao Sir, Academic Officer, onto the dais. Now, I would like to invite today's chief guest and speaker, Dr. Chella Suresh Sir, nominee of CCSEA, Scientist F, and Senior Deputy Director, ICMR, National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad, onto the dais. Let us invoke knowledge and life by commencing the event with the lighting of lamp. We request our dignitaries to kindly come forward. Now I would like to invite Dr. Y. Padmanabh Reddy sir, Principal, Raipur, to address the gathering.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Challa Suresh Garu, scientist at NIN Labs, Hyderabad, and my dear colleagues, Dr. Vinod, Dr. Somsekhar, Dr. Umamaiswar Rao, and faculty members sitting before me, as well as students or participants or delegates of this 2 days workshop of this. I welcome you all for this 2 days workshop, which is being organized by RIPA, Raghavendra Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, in association with Committee for Control and Supervision of Experiments on Animals, CCSEA. So actually, I am happy to share that this is the first of its kind being organized at our institute, as well as the first of its kind in entire Andhra Pradesh, which is being sponsored by CCSEA, a 2 days workshop. Particularly, this workshop is aimed at to bring awareness on how the experiments have to be carried out on animals, what are the practices to be followed, and what are the ethics involved in the experiments. Because most of us may not be so kind enough to the animals, particularly because there is a law and which need to be followed by each and every one of us, and they need to be treated as per the protocol or the guidelines issued by the CCSEA. Even though you are using the animals for the experiments, which you may be the results which you are getting may be extrapolated for experiments, that means for the drug discovery or whatever it may be. So it has to be handled in a proper way, and every protocol has to be approved by the Institutional Animal Ethical Committee, IAEC. So I think some of you might not be knowing, particularly students who have crossed the 3rd year or 4th B.Pharm, they might be knowing what is CCSEA and what are the protocol, how the protocols have to be accepted by the committee. So in order to bring awareness, so this workshop has been granted us particularly to bring awareness among the young budding pharmacists. So with these few words, and I would like to congratulate Dr. Somsekhar for submitting the proposal to the CCSEA and also getting the grant by the CCSEA to organize this 2 days workshop. And on behalf of RIPA and the management and the faculty and the students, I thank particularly Dr. Challa Suresh Garu, who is, I think most of you might be recollecting that Sir has attended our annual day function also, that RIPA annual day function 2025 also. Okay, so I thank Dr. Suresh Garu for accepting our invitation and coming over to this workshop to give his expertise, to share his expertise with all of you. And these 2 days is very important, and tomorrow also 2 more experts are coming. One is Venkatram Reddy and another one is Ravindra Reddy. Those 2 are very seniors in that means particularly the experiments involving the animals. So I request all of you to be very cautious and to follow the whatever they are going to deliver, and try to clear your doubts also, whatever you had, and try to interact with them so that you are going to acquire some knowledge. Okay, so with these brief words, thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Varana.
Now I would like to invite our convener of the program, Dr. K. Somsekhar Reddy sir, to address the gathering.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Challa Suresh Garu, representative of CCSEA, Scientist F, Senior Deputy Director, ICMR, National Institute of Nutrition, our Principal, Dr. Y. Padmanabh Reddy Garu, our Academic Director, Dr. A. Umamaiswar Garu, our administrative officer, Dr. K. Vinod Kumar Garu, my dear colleagues and my dear participants, good morning all of you. So workshop sponsored by Committee for Control and Supervision of Experiments on Animals on proposed theme Development of Knowledge on Animal Welfare Science and Ethics. Before submission of this proposal to the CCSEA, on one fine day I contacted with Suresh sir. I would like to keep your name as a speaker to our workshop, sir. Sir immediately accepted. No need to ask to me. You can keep my name. I am ready to come to deliver lecture to your college. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation on that day. Coming to workshop, Development of Knowledge on Animal Welfare Science and Ethics. Our institute was established in the year of 2002. Our institute was registered with the CCSEA in the year of 2005, 25th February, sir. In the year of 1998, CCSEA came into existence to approve the protocols and to approve the institute registered with the CCSEA. CCSEA amended in the year of 2001, followed by 2006. Our principals thought that even though we don't have PG programs in the year of 2005, since 2005 onwards, we are continually maintaining the animal house till now, sir. After amendment by the CCSEA, we got the approval of PG in pharmacology in the year of 2010. 2010 onwards, we are submitting the research protocols on small animals by approval by the IAEC, Institutional Animal Ethics Committee, and submitting into the yearly 2 times to the CCSEA website by me and also our principal sir as a chairman of our IAEC. By considering these, principal sir told me you can apply for the workshop regarding the animal welfare science and ethics by considering the eminent speakers to our workshop, which is helpful to our faculty and the students. So that I submitted the protocol to the CCSEA by considering the Suresh sir as a CCSEA main nominee. This workshop will help us to gain the knowledge about animal welfare science and ethics. Here we have the various aspects related to the animal welfare science and ethics. That one is CCSEA guidelines. Second thing is animal welfare issues. Third one is alternative to animal experiments. Fourth one is various legislations related to animal welfare in our country. These 4 objectives are very important to learn, and this will help us to reduce the stress, pain, discomfort onto the animals as a scientist. Okay. By this connection, we need to go for inspection of any animal house by having this knowledge, and we need to have the right to apply for the CCSEA nominee. Okay, I would like to conclude. Once again, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the CCSEA Member Secretary S.K. Datta, who sanctioned to conduct this program, and Senior Consultant Dr. Vivek Tagi, who is supporting us to conduct the various workshops across the country, and to our management and principal for supporting us to conduct these type of workshops. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Challa Suresh sir to address the gathering.
Good morning all. Thank you very much for inviting me to this campus. I think this is my second visit on this campus, and I should thank Padmanabh Reddy Garu. And before conceptualizing this kind of workshop, Professor Somsekhar has contacted me and he wanted to conduct this kind of program. I said it's a very good thing for the students actually. And students are nothing but budding scientists. And you are most welcome to be put my name as one of the person, a resource person to be associated with this program. And I should thank Member Secretary CCSA, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, Datta, to nominate me to take care of this program. And I will be, after this program, I will be delivering a talk about what kind of ethical guidance CCSA says and what kind of things we need to follow. And animal ethics is a term, is not a simple term, it's a very big word actually. It involves a lot many regulations which has been designed by the ministry, and being a nominee for many establishments I said last time, you all had Covaxin. Covaxin is a COVID vaccine, which is indigenously developed vaccine by Government of India through Bharat Biotech. So you all know that one. Many of you must be having, must have had Covaxin as vaccination to combat COVID. And I was one of the person from the Ministry of Animal Husbandry associated with the Bharat Biotech, nominated member while designing the protocols during the preclinical trials. So when you are associated with a big establishment like Bharat Biotech, while designing a vaccine, testing that one in the animals is very like a roller coaster ride actually. We need to thoroughly be, we should have proper knowledge about the animal ethics and what kind of protocols we can approve. Without my approval, they can't conduct the study. That's how I involved. And also not only Bharat Biotech, the major establishment like Origin, GVK, now GVK is Oregon, Reddy's Labs, Vivo Biotech, Vimta Labs, Adgil, Vico Biotech, and many other establishments. I am serving as a member, nominee for them, and also main nominee, looking into various protocols. And apart from this, I am also a inspector, GLP inspector, Good Laboratory Practices inspector from the Ministry of Science and Technology. So therefore, I have a dual role like a CCSA nominee and also GLP inspector. I need to be thorough with the guidelines. So therefore, when you want to make an entry after your MSc or M.Pharmacy, PhD or whatever, Pharma D into industry, having knowledge in the animal handling procedures is so important. If you want to handle animal, if you want to touch the animal, you need to know about the animal ethical guidelines. So you are all, I know that you are all aspiring job holders for the future, you want to make an entry into the any kind of big pharmaceuticals like CROs, contract research organizations. You need to have knowledge about the animal handling and the related ethical guidelines, which I am going to speak in one of the first lectures about what kind of guidelines we need to follow, what CCSE says about animal ethical guidelines. So there I will speak, and once again I should thank Reddy Garu and Somasekhar, Dr. Somasekhar, and other dignitaries on the stage, and also CCSE for making me part of this program. Hope this will run, one more day is there. Tomorrow Venkatram Reddy is coming, he is also a very close associate of me, I know him very well, and he is also serving as member for several establishments. Your own college is a member, and we hope deliberations will be fruitful, and you will get some knowledge, and don't stop here. Only theoretical knowledge you are projecting, you need to have animal handling sessions also, how to handle animals, how to draw the blood, how to hold the animal, how to give injections, such kind of things you need to learn. And that is an important aspect. Whatever theory you are learning today's session and tomorrow's session is not sufficient. You need to know about animal handling. So you need to be thorough with the animals like rats, mice, rabbits, guinea pigs, monkeys, beagle dogs, pigs, goats, horse, equine, every animal, you need to follow certain guidelines. Once again, I thank your administration for making me part of this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I request the dignitaries on the dais to felicitate our chief guest, Dr. Chella Suresh, sir. Thank you, sir. Let us now move on to our first session of the day. Now I invite Dr. Kanzi Nilima Ma'am, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Associate Professor, to introduce our speaker.
Good morning to all. This is Dr. Nilima, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmacy Practice. It's my honor and privilege to introduce our distinguished guest and speaker, Dr. Chella Suresh Garu. Dr. Chella Suresh Garu is an eminent scientist in the field of biomedical sciences. Currently, sir holds the prestigious position of Scientist A and Senior Deputy Director at the Indian Council of Medical Research, National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad. Sir serves as the head of Cell Biology Division and is a professor and coordinator for PhD and MSc programs under the Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research. With a rich and remarkable career spanning over 28 years of dedicated service to ICMR. Dr. Suresh Garu has earned a stellar reputation as a leading researcher in biochemical toxicology and nutritional biochemistry. Sir completed his MSc in biochemistry with a gold medal from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, followed by a PhD in biochemistry from the same university, and later sir received a Doctor of Science in Biotechnology from Berhampur University for his innovative work on neurotoxicity and Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Suresh Garu has led and contributed to over 15 major research projects which are funded by the national agencies including DBT, DST, CSIR and ICMR. Sir is a recognized PhD supervisor in biochemistry, biotechnology and nutrition and has successfully guided 11 doctoral scholars and 5 PhD students currently under his mentorship. His research has been widely published with over 70 scientific publications in reputed national and international journals. Dr. Suresh Garu represented India in over 40 scientific conferences worldwide and he has been honored with multiple fellowships including National Institute of Health Visiting Scientist Fellowship to the USA and the ICMR Young Biomedical Scientist Fellowship. His affiliations equally impressive. Sir is a fellow of the Royal Society of Biology, United Kingdom, a fellow of the Association of Biotechnology and Pharmacy, and a fellow of the Telangana Academy of Science. Sir is also a life member of several prestigious bodies such as the Society of Biological Chemists of India, Nutrition Society of India, Society of Toxicology, United States of America, and the Indian Diabetic Association. Additionally, Dr. Suresh Garu has been appointed as a GLP inspector for the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and currently serves as a CCSEA nominee under the Ministry of Animal Husbandry. In essence, Dr. Chella Suresh Garu is not only a scientific leader but also a mentor, innovator, and a visionary in biomedical research. I request Dr. Chella Suresh Garu to kindly come forward and deliver the talk on animal ethics and experimental guidelines. Stage is over to you, sir.
Hello, am I audible? Hello, hello, yes. So once again, good morning all. Thank you for giving a wonderful opportunity to present myself, my offer. And whatever the biodata being delivered by presenter is not that big. I need to achieve many more things. I am a small researcher. Till today I am doing research. And this specific topic is a bit a dry subject. Please kindly bear with me for 1 hour at least, because there is no adventurous things in this topic. This is the compendium of CCSA guidelines. Okay. So these are all the material is written in the CCSA guidelines book 2018. It's freely available on the internet. You can just go and have a look at this particular document which I am going to talk today. This topic is simply on the animal ethics and what kind of guidelines we సౌండ్ తగ్గించమ్మా కొద్దిగా సౌండ్ తగ్గించు ఓకే సో if you be little silent I can speak little more I think so please maintain little patience for about 1 hour, kindly bear with my talk. So the title which has been given to me is today's like guidelines of CCSA and animal ethics. I am going to speak about what is CCSA and what kind of regulations we need to follow. Just that. So if you see what is CCSA, it's a body from the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, Government of India. Means whatever the guidelines we need to follow for handling animals, not only by colleges, by all the establishments like I was talking about Bharat Biotech, whatever the pharmaceuticals, they have to adhere to the guidelines set by this ministry. Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, Government of India. And this particular guidelines says that what is the need to use the animals ethically for the research purposes. If you want to do any kind of research, you have to handle animals. Before you want to, for example, you want to test something on the brain, or you want to design a drug, and you can't go and ask in a hospital directly the doctor, I want a human brain. You can't ask. Therefore, you need to test somewhere before for the efficacy of that particularly designed drug. The source is the animal model. So You can give the drug to the animals, and what is the effect of that particular drug on the animal's brain, you can check by testing various parameters, and then if you find that some encouraging results that yes, it is working on the brain, then you can go for the clinical trials. So for that, you need to have standard protocols designed to perform in the animals. So that is called the research and testing. You need to research and test that particular compound or whatever the design. For example, morning I was talking about some formulations which has been designed in our college. I don't know, somebody was like, Praveen was talking. So for testing that one in the animals, you need to have the ethically approved protocol by the Institutional Animal Ethical Committee. What is Institutional Animal Ethical Committee? I will speak in coming slides. So this one attracts Prevention and Cruelty of Animal Act 1960. So that particular act in the Gazette form is there in Government of India. This highly unethical use of the animals attracts this act. So while handling animals, you need to practice certain guidelines. So that guidelines, without following the guidelines, if you start handling animals based on this kind of Prevention of Cruelty of Animals Act 1960, you can put in jail. So therefore, while handling and doing any kind of animal experimentation, you need to be very thorough first, and also you should have knowledge about animal ethics. So it used to be, the name used to be CPCSA, now it is called CCSEA. See, the Committee for the Purpose of Control and Supervision of Experiments on Animals, that used to be the name CPCSEA. Now P is removed, it is CCSEA. Control, for the purpose they have removed control of supervision of experiments on animals, and which is a statutory committee, a body for the Government of India, working for Government of India, and the animals used in the laboratories for research, testing and education should be treated humanly. Humanly means what? How a human is treated by another human. Like that we have to treat the animals. The latest incident happened just now morning. I have shared with Professor Padmavati in Palamuru Biosciences. In Palamuru Biosciences is there in Hyderabad, one of the leading testing agencies, CRO, where they have mishandled the dogs, pigs and the other animals placed in that animal house. So yesterday only I was talking about CCSEA Vivek Tyagi was in Hyderabad to inspect that facility, whether they are handled properly or not. So it's an act of which attracts the particular act, and they will be put in the jail also. So therefore, while handling animals, we need to take care of the particular thing like humanly and ethically. These two words are so important. We have to handle the animals by using these things, and it operates under the Ministry of Fisheries, like I said already, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy, and it regulates the animal experimentation protocols. Animal experimentations and oversee the animal experimentation protocols. We need to follow the compliance. Compliance means, compliance is a buzzword which uses as inspector, GLP inspector in the GLP compliance labs. That means strictly to be adhered and to be followed. If you are crossing the guidelines, limits, if you are not following, if you are not showing any kind of compliance, you can't handle the animal protocols. So therefore, like I said, this attracts the Prevention of Cruelty of Animals Act 1960, and you should not use unnecessary pain. In the initial remarks by Professor Somsekhar Reddy, he has used this word, unnecessary pain and suffering to the animals. You should not give unnecessary pain to the animals. Without handling, without giving pain, how you will handle the animal? Without giving pain, you want to give an injection, you have to take a tissue from the animal. You can ask a question simply, how, without giving pain, how you can handle the animals? There are guidelines which I am going to talk those guidelines in coming slides. And also, when you want to perform any experimentation, you should show proper justification. Why you want to perform the animal? I want this number of animals, 20, 30, 40, 50. Why you want? You want to say this is the control animals, this is the experimental animal, these groups, different groups, each group requires minimum 8 or minimum 10 for, and this is the dosing, 200 milligrams, 400 milligrams, 600 milligrams dosing, for that this many number of animals required. That is called justification. You need to give proper justification before taking the animals for experimentation. So all research institutions, laboratories, pharmaceutical companies and teaching establishments like yours, they should follow the rules and regulations, and they should get registering with the CCSEA, and you should have an animal ethics committee for handling, performing and also getting results out of the animals. So what are the objectives of CCSEA? Like what we are talking about CCSEA, we have certain rules and regulations we need to follow. But what are the objectives? Objectives of CCSEA is human treatment and care of animals, that is being used in the animal experimentation, and regulate the facilities housing experimental animals. What kind of facility you should have in the animal house to house an animal? Those guidelines also, temperature, humidity, light, everything is required. Those things also I will show in my slides, coming slides. And so we should provide a proper environment to house the animals in the animal house. And review and approve animal experimentation. For that there is a committee being designed by the CCSEA. Your institute is also having since 2015, I believe. We have an animal ethics committee, IASC. And he himself is the member secretary, chairperson is Padmanabh Reddy, and we have a committee. So there is an outside expert and biological scientist. They have to review your protocol and give permission. Then only you can initiate the experimentation. So therefore, this promotes alternative. And CCSEA also says that if you don't want really, there is no need to do in animals only the experiments. You can find other ways to perform similar kind of experimentation like simulation in other experiments like in vitro studies, in silico studies, whether is there any possibility while suppose myself, I am the principal investigator of the study, I am presenting a protocol in front of the IASC, Institutional Animal Ethics Committee will ask you, is there any possibility to perform same kind of experiments other than the animals? So that kind of things also will be promoting alternatives to animals by CCSEA. So I said ensure human treatment care and regulate and inspect the animal housing facilities, cleanliness, space, ventilation, temperature, lighting and species specific area. You can't put the animal like for example rabbit in a rat cage and the mice, rats in a mice cage, and you can't put the monkeys in a small room. So there should be a kind of spatial arrangement in the animal house that is called species specific care. You need to have animals, different kinds of animals you will be using, like starting with mice, rats, guinea pigs, rabbits, bigger dogs like dogs, goats, pigs, monkeys, all kinds of animals you can use for the experimental studies. But you need to provide all kinds of environment to particular species. Species means that model of the animal. So I should promote 3 R's. I think in the next session Dr. Somsekar will speak about 3 R's. But in my presentation also there are 3 R's. What is 3 R? Replacement, reduction and refinement. Replacement of animals with non-animal models and reduction number of animals. Is there any possibility? Investigators ask 10 animals. This can be done in 5 animals or 6 animals. Why you want 10 animals? You can reduce the number of animals. So refinement, and you should show proper justification that these animals will be handled without giving any kind of suffering. That means pain and other things. So the whatever the animal experiment you are doing, you just take the animals, give some injection and sacrifice the animal, take the tissues for further investigations. That is not the case. You need to have a proper documentation. Proper documentation is required. Once you start the experimentation, how much feed you are given, what is the body weight of the animal, how long you want to maintain, what is the kind of procedure you are going to adapt to keep the animals in the animal house. These kind of things should be documented in a document. And when the inspecting authority is reviewing your protocol again, post-experimentation, you should be able to produce those documents to the authority. So therefore, you need a proper documentation and also the training for the animal, the personnel who is handling the animals. For example, somebody don't know how to take the animal, how to hold the animal, how to draw the blood, how to sacrifice the animal. That person cannot be a personnel in the animal house. Therefore, the proper training and competence evaluation is required for the person who is handling the animals. So therefore, you need to have proper training before going into the animal house. One should have proper training and then only you can handle the animals. And also prevent misuse of animals or overuse of the animals. Instead of using 5 animals, you can't use 10 animals. Instead of using 10 animals, you can't use 15 animals. And in place of 10 animals, you can't use 6 animals. So either way is not correct. So therefore, how many animals you want, you should know properly by looking into the literature, various studies. You must be publishing, your faculty must be publishing data. And how many animals you want, you have to properly design. And also, you need to develop a kind of SOP. SOP is nothing but standard operating procedure. Standard operating procedure is from starting with the animal, like procuring the animals from the animal house from outside, buying the animals, quarantining the animals, keeping the animals, starting the experimentation and performing the experiment. All kinds of procedures to be documented in terms of SOP, standard operating procedure. And you see what you call the scope and applicability of CCSA. What is the scope for the CCSA? CCSA is like all establishments, including, like I said, pharmaceuticals, colleges, pharmacy colleges or whatever educational institutions, and all has to have, they should perform research using animals, and they should provide education and training and the breeding and trading of the animals. There are facilities where you can breed the animals in the animal house, you can sell it. Breeding is called making the animals to grow in the animals, and you can trading means sell the animals. So breeding and trading also is there. Those are the facilities where you can sell the animals, and from there you can procure the animals for experimentation. So those facilities also should have permission from the CCSA. And also the drug testing. If you want to test any drug, you have designed a drug, you want to test the drug in the animals. For that, you should have a kind of CCSA permission. And see, I was talking about IASC. What is IASC? IASC is Institutional Animal Ethical Committee. That role I am playing in several establishments. That should have, your institute is also having. If after this talk you can find out from your faculty what is IASC, what are the who are the members from your own institution you can find. The IASC comprises of one biological scientist, 2 biological scientists and 1 veterinarian, a scientist in charge of the animals, external is a nominee, like for example, a person has to come from the outside, like a nominee from the, like for example today's session I have been nominated by CCSEA to present a talk, to give a talk on behalf of CCSEA. I am representing today not your college, I am representing the Government of India now today. So therefore we should have an external CCSEA nominee and a person, layman. Layman means a socially aware nominee who should not have any kind of science background. They should simply see the ethical angle of the animals. That person is also should be the one of the members in the IASC and also member secretary. Member secretary who is constituting this committee and taking care of the meetings, protocol approvals and other things. Your institution is also having a member secretary and I think he is the member secretary. Somasekhar Reddy is the member secretary. And there are different categories of animal experimentations, like category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. The category 1 is like involving clinical observations. There is no need to sacrifice the animal. Simply you go and see the clinical observations, whether the animal is good, healthy, whether they have any kind of infection, whether the animal body weight is normal. That is called clinical observation. Whether the eyes are good, the limping, the walking attitude is good, that kind of things are called as clinical observations. There is no need of animal ethics is involved there. Only simply monitoring the animals for their health, that is called clinical observations. The second point is the mild pain and discomfort. That means minor surgery. You want to put some medical device inside the animal to test. For example, there is a fracture, you are putting a steel rod inside your leg or hand, whatever it may be. Like that, you do a minor surgery onto the leg and put that device inside. That is comes under second category, category 2. Category 3 is involves mild pain. What is pain? What kind of analgesic, what kind of anesthetics we have to use? I am going to present in coming slides. And the fourth category is the procedure causing death. That is irreversible. Irreversible means you are sacrificing the animal. And here, because we are talking of animal ethics, we should not use the word killing the animal. Killing is a very derogatory word. You should always say that animals are being sacrificed. Once you complete the experimentation, then you will sacrifice the animal. For example, I was telling about the brain example. You want to take the brain, you can't, and the live animal, you can't take out the brain. You have to sacrifice. Sacrifice means it goes to death. That comes under category 4. So you can see the categories like 1, clinical observations only. I said there is no pain, it's non-invasive, only behavioral observation, physical examination, routine weighing, feeding trials, non-invasive imaging. These kind of things you can perform in the category 1. And no anesthesia, no ethical clearance is required. Simply you can go and test the animals. And in category 2, mild pain discomfort is minor interventions like the superficial manufacture, with which you can just puncture and take the blood drawing. And oral gavage, if you want to put something through the mouth, you can just simply use oral gavage. What is oral gavage? You must be having in your animal house. You can see it looks like this, and oral gavage and administration of substance that do not cause toxicity, and also proper surgical procedure you need to have. For all these things you need to have proper justification. So the category 3 is like significant physiological or psychological stress being created for the animal, and also we need to show the relief measures, how animal can withstand them. And also the major surgeries like tumor induction, infectious disease models, toxicity studies, all kinds of things comes under category 3. And category 4 is like you see LDVP studies, lethal dose testing, organ harvest post sacrifice. You just take out liver, lungs, bone, whatever the tissues you want from the animal, you can take out after the sacrifice of the animal only. That comes under category 4. And see the guidelines, like you should use, these are all the basic principles you need to adapt, like minimum number of animals, and by using minimum number you should get maximum scientific output. Like that you have to design the animal experimentation. And also you need to, like in the previous slides I said, you have to justify the use of the animals, and also the proper anesthesia, because once you go to the hospital, they want to do some kind of surgery, they will give anesthesia. For that, anesthetics, what kind of anesthetics you can use for the animals also there have been written. I'll tell about that one also. And analgesics like for example you have paracetamol and other brufen, all kinds of things like that you have to give to animals. You can't just take while live animal without giving anesthesia, without giving painkillers, you can't handle the animals. So and endpoints, and the endpoint should avoid saying that we should not have any sufferings, means we should not create a kind of disturbance for their health. And euthanasia. Euthanasia is a word, other way around, it is called sacrifice. Once you are sacrificing the animal, like raw terminology, killing the animal, is nothing but euthanasia. You can just note down that word and you can search on the internet what is euthanasia. What kind of procedures you have to adapt for sacrificing animals. That also, na phone ఉంది దగ్గర. See, the use of minimum number of animals with maximum scientific outcome. For that, we need to statistically validate sample size. You have to design. You have to have a statistician with you, and also justify choice of species. In place of mice, you can't use rat. In place of rabbit, you can't use rat. So, in place of rats, you can't use rabbit. Therefore, you should be a well-known person, the principal investigator. Should know what kind of animals you have to use. That is called choice. Species must be scientifically justified. And also lower phylogenetic species like rodents. This is a typical word, you can note it down and you can search for that. It takes a lesson, one class for that, I don't want to discuss. And use of anesthetics like surgical and invasive procedures like pre, peri, post-operative care. You need to use anesthetics, how to use anesthetic, what kind of anesthetic you have to use, that I will tell in coming slides. And very defined clinical science. With this clinical science only you can sacrifice the animals. And also euthanasia procedures like CO2 inhalation, CO2 carbon dioxide, you can put in a chamber, you can give CO2 in a very defined quantity, animal will die. So that is called CO2 inhalation. And also overdose of anesthetics. Anesthesia, you can give ketamine, gelazine, all with the anesthetics. With overdose, if you give overdose, animals will die. So that is called overdose of anesthetics. So housing and acclimatization, and you should have, like in the beginning I said, we should have a proper housing of the animals. We should maintain very cleanly environment in the animal house, and at least 3 to 7 days we should have before animals. You should start experiment. It is called acclimatization procedures. 3 to 7 days. Some facilities use 5. The SOPs defines that 5 days, 3 days, 6 days, 7 days, and also sudden change of temperature you should avoid. Normally 20 to 22 degrees, 24 degrees we can maintain the temperature. It should not fluctuate. It should not go beyond 30, beyond 25, below 20. Animals will die quickly. So you need to maintain the proper temperature conditions, and also proper veterinarian should be there to take care of the animals. Veterinarian is not there, and normal other person, if you want to follow the procedures by a veterinarian, same thing has to be trained. By training should be given to a personnel by a veterinarian to handle the animals. And also avoid repetitive procedures. Reuse animals you should not practice, only except some kind of studies like PK studies and other things where beagle dogs been used. There you can use after washout period, certain washout period, 7 to 10 days washout period is there. Then you can reuse the animals. But for in the small animals you can't reuse the animals. And record keeping, you have to maintain records, and environmental enrichment. So, what kind of animal housing care you should look into? Like animals should have proper ventilation, temperature, light cycles. What are all these? Next slide I'm going to present. What kind of cages, what kind of bedding you can use to keep the animal? You have to use proper bedding. Bedding means like what you have in the cot, you have a bed like Duraplex and other things. Like that, animal need a kind of bedding. That you can concave and other things you can see, and that kind of bedding is required. And veterinary care should be there. Yes, if you are not having a veterinarian, a person should be trained by a veterinarian. and also daily feed water supply. You need to monitor what kind of feed you are giving, what kind of water you are giving. Contaminated water you can't give to the animals. Animals will die quickly. They will end up with the kind of infections. So, like facility requirements, like cage and housing, like I said previously, species specific, size, design and materials, and also should be group based housing. And you can't put a single rat in the animal in the cage. We have to put 2-3 animals together because they have to, like we sit in the canteen and discuss and talk, laugh, fun. There should be animals also have that kind of attitude. They should be together. And also clean, absorbent, non-toxic bedding like corn cob and wood shoving. That kind of things. Once they urinate, the bed should absorb the urinals. So therefore that kind of bedding we have to use. And temperature conditions, it should be 22 plus or minus 2 degrees for rodents, and humidity should be 30 to 70%, and lighting is 12-hour cycle, 12 to 12. 12 hours light, 12 hours dark. Then automatic procedures are available with the animal houses. You can simply use that facility. 12 hours light will be there, 12 hours dark will be there. That is required for the animals. And also the ventilation, 10 to 15 air changes, proper airing should be there. And also for animals like dogs, we need to have a kind of play toys, chew blocks, tunnels, nesting materials, perches, all these things required. Like how you play with the ball and other things, dogs also will play with the playing materials. So noise, you should not have a noise in the animal house, should maintain proper. Like if you see the animal house, my CCSEA guideline checklist, all these things are there. So noise, you should maintain certain decibels only. It should be noise-free environment, should be quiet in the animal house. And animal house should not be there next to a place where always a machine is running. Animals will be disturbed. That is also comes under animal ethics. That is a kind of point, a highly unethical approach of keeping animal house. So animal house should be very calm, quiet, like a meditation center. So like daily monitoring, we have to, a person should go to the animal house every day and monitor the animals once daily for health, behavior, pain, distress. Animals will fight among themselves. So they fight like we fight each other, like animals also fight. So any kind of injuries are happening, that also has to be observed. If you just leave animal just like that, they will end up with the infections, they will die. The infection, once it comes to one animal, it gets spread throughout the animal house. Therefore, it should be infection free. And veterinary support like proper vaccination, deworming should be given to the animals, and also human methods should be followed, and nutrition, balanced diet should be given to the animals. Like you should have our institute, National Institute of Nutrition, we have a very good animal house facility. We supply feed also. We make all kinds of micronutrients, macronutrients, carbohydrates, lipids, protein, dye. We make pellets for the animals to have. So they should have a proper nutritionally sound feed for the animals. You should buy it and provide to the animals. And also water should be clean. If water is contaminated, if you provide to the animals, animals will die with kind of infestation in the stomach. So therefore water should be RO water. RO water supply should be there, and the RO water plant should be there in the animal house. And also sanitation, we should clean the cages. We should clean the cage every day. The urinal, whatever is passed on the bedding, we should remove it. So animals should have a proper bedding, proper cleaning, proper cages should be cleaned. The fecal material will be there. Every day we have to clean the animal house by a person, trained personnel. It has to go and clean the animal house. And also the animals, how many animals are there in the animal house? We should have a board outside the animal house to record this many animals are housed inside the animal house. There should be a stock register and experimental approved records. The IASC approves the protocols. This is the protocol which is to be performed in the animal house. That record should be there, and also health monitoring reports and mortality morbidity like logs. Suppose animal dies without having any kind of knowledge in the animal house, why it has died, why the animal has expired, that record should be there. How many animals expired, that record we have to maintain in the animal house. And see, the training and education. This is very important component because veterinary, what kind of things we need to have a regular training procedures. You need to have a regular training procedure, like today we have workshop. Like this, we need to conduct regularly to the animal house personnel and also the people involved in the animal experimentation, like the ethical principles and legal requirements and animal handling and restraint. I have a presentation with me for animal handling procedures also. That is separate session. How to handle the animal, how to draw the animal, how to sacrifice the animal, how to give anesthesia, how to give analgesic, all kinds of procedures. Those procedures you need to have a proper training, and also the anesthesia, analgesic and euthanasia procedures, how to sacrifice the animals. That is also been given training. And emergency first aid. For example, some kind of animal is having a kind of distress. Suddenly it is kind of having heart attack or some kind of issue. You should have an emergency aid, means medical kit in the animal house. And the training should be provided for the scientists, researchers, technicians, animal house caretakers, veterinarians and IAC members, students, student trainees. The student is involved in some kind of project with his faculty, and they are doing some project and they wanted to give the work to the students for their dissertation or whatever it may be. The student also has to be trained for the particular procedures which is being adopted in the animal house. And also the ethical principle and legal framework, like I said, it attracts Preventive Cruelty Animal Act 1960. We need to follow 3R principles, and also animal handling restraint, like lifting the animal, holding the animal, restraining the animal to minimize the stress levels of the animals, and also aseptic techniques like maintaining sterile conditions, personal protective equipment, that is called PPE. PPE is one of the important aspects, like Praveen knows about that, how we insist that when he was previously somewhere else, there I was the nominee. We should have, once before entering the animal house itself, we should have PPEs in place. You should wear the lab coat, you should have a mask, you should have a hair cap, and everything. You should have gloves, and like this one, like you need to wear the covers for the shoes, everything. That is called PPEs. PPEs you should have, and also to avoid the contamination in the animal house. I am wearing shoes now, I can't just enter the animal house. We should go with a proper cleanly approach to the animal house. For that you need to maintain proper sanitation. And you see, selection of appropriate agents, like specific differences with the like anesthetics and analgesics based on the species, based on the animal requirement. Like for example, rat, mice, all kinds of animals having different kinds of doses, like anesthetic dose, and also type and duration, invasive procedures, and potential side effects. If you give overdose of the anesthetics, also animal will die. So therefore, we should have a proper anesthetic dosage, and also the common anesthetics like inhalation agent like isoflurane, sevoflurane, and injectable like ketamine, like I was talking in the previous slide, like ketamine, xylazine, and phenobarbital. These are all the anesthetics. And analgesics like morphine, the buprenorphine, and NSAIDs like meloxicam, carbapenem. All kinds of things should be placed in the animal house to avoid a kind of pain to the animals with proper anesthetic dosages. And also the procedure, before the painful procedure of the animals, we should give proper analgesic before the experimentation. And before giving anesthesia itself, we have to give proper analgesics. And also the euthanasia procedures, how we can sacrifice the animals. Different kinds of procedures are available. We can see the guidelines. So you can see the inhalation of carbon dioxide for rodents, and also with the controlled flow rates, and overdose of anesthetics like barbiturates, you can give intravenously, animal will die. And also physical methods like cervical dislocation. We can, by this connection, we can dislocate. Animal will die. That is called cervical dislocation. Cervical means the vertebra from head to the body, that if you just like that, you can make like that, that is called cervical dislocation, animal will die. And like decapitation. This kind of procedure we need to practice in the animal house. And like I said, like next presentation by Somsekhar will be giving about this kind of methods. I don't want to stress much about that, replacement, non-animal models, reduction, refinement, and like replacement, like I said in the beginning of my presentation, like in vitro methods, like cell cultures, organoids. Now organoids is the buzzword. Everybody is using organoids, and the tissue engineering 3D models, and in silico methods like bioinformatics modeling, computer modeling you can use to avoid the animals usage, and the virtual simulation processes also you can use, and predictive toxicology methods. You can predict the outcome, and that methods you can use, and microdosing studies also you can use for the replacement methods. And the reduction is statistical. By using proper statistical and experimental design, you can reduce the number of animals, and also sharing the data with biological samples to other researchers. Same kind of experiment you are performing, and by different investigators, one control group is sufficient. Others all can have a experimental group. That control group can be used by other researchers also. Same kind of animal. That is called sharing the data, sharing the samples. Therefore, you can reduce the number of animals, and also use a pilot study. Rather than design a big study, I want to use 10 per each group. There are 4 groups, 40 animals. You should not use, you don't know the outcome of the study. Therefore, you can design a pilot study by using 1 or 2 animals. You can test the compound whether this is working or not. If it is working only, you can go further. You can't just go to the straight experiment and design the experiment and perform the experiment without having any results. Therefore, you can reduce the number of animals. And also the modifying procedures in refinement, like minimizing pain, suffering, distress, and use of better anesthesia and analgesics, less invasive surgical procedures, improved housing and handling procedures. And like in vitro models, like use of cell lines, primary cells, stem cells, study biology and toxicology, computational models, and like simulation imaging like MRI, PET scan, CT scan, all can be used. And also you can use these models for the scientific accuracy and reproducibility, and also there are some regulatory requirements are also there to use these kind of models. So if you don't practice whatever I was speaking for all this, like around 40-45 minutes, if you don't practice, what happens? What happens is there is stringent rules and regulations for the persons who are not using proper animal ethical guidelines applying on to the animal experimentation, and suspension on experimental project. They can remove the study, they can close the study, and cancellation of facility registration. They can remove the IAS registration from the CCSEA, Government of India. They can cancel the registration, and legal action can be taken. Legal action can be up to any extent. The person can be jailed also. You can put them in the jail. So police case can be filed against the person if they don't follow the proper ethical procedures. And also seizure of animals. Animals will not be issued to that facility, and also blacklisting the institution. There is a database. You can go to the CCSEA website where the institutions are blacklisted. They cannot perform the animal experimentation in future forever. That is called blacklisting. So when you are performing the animal experimentation, those who are students wanted to take jobs in future, they should know about animal ethical guidelines, because when they enter the industry, they will also ask you, do you have any idea about animal ethical guidelines? And see, this is my final slide. CCSEA or CCSEA is central. Some sound has come, no? Because there is a final slide. So, CCSEA is central to ensuring animal ethical use, and the emphasis on compliance, documentation and training. All these things are very required thing, like if you want to maintain animal house properly, you need to have proper compliance, documentation and training procedures, and the institution must be approved, animal welfare and scientific integrity. And if you are doing, and if you are practicing all kinds of guidelines, whatever I said, and the data integrity will be there, which can be reproducible in other facilities, and we can design a drug, we can market the drug, we can get the money. So otherwise, anywhere anything is missing, like record keeping, not maintaining proper animal house, not maintaining the animal health, not maintaining all kinds of ethical rules, regulations, whatever I mentioned, you will not get the good data. So data integrity is missing. Thank you very much. Hope I am on time. Any questions? Any doubts? See, like, if you know the rules only, you can be a nominee. You can serve for an establishment or a company or a pharmaceuticals. Because I know these rules, I am the member for many pharmaceuticals. Like, you must be knowing whatever the names I am telling you, go and search. Like Bharat Biotech, RCC, Imtalabs, Agil, Europeans, Vico Biotech, Vivo Biotech, all kinds of, you have to go and join there for jobs. These all has animal house, they all follow the animal ethical guidelines. Any doubts? Go to first slide. Oh, Mama. First slide. Picture here. First slide. Picture here. Is it that? It is, you may need to share with the CCSEA. Any doubts from the student community or faculty?
Hello, sir. Good morning. There is a tumor induction model regarding tumor induction. If any specific approval for xenograft models, is IAC is enough, or any other ethical requirement for xenograft model?
Xenograft models, yes.
Any other?
Yeah. You should not handle in a normal animal house facility. It's a very good question. Like xenograft animal, like animals are very robust. You should not get in India, so you have to procure from outside. So you should have a special environment. You should follow the specific rules. You can't make an entry. You have to have a wash shower. You have to maintain proper. There are separate guidelines for handling xenograft models, like cancer models, like tumor model, graft models, all kinds of things. You should not practice those kind of whatever I said, regular practice in the animal house. You cannot have. That has a special isolation in the animal house itself.
One question, sir. Regarding pilot study, as you said, pilot study. Pilot study.
Pilot study.
Is not required any recognition approval for running the pilot study, sir, because we are using limited number of animals. Again, the IAC question is how you use without taking the approval of.
Yes. This is also one more valid question. Pilot study should be an integral part of the main study.
Yes.
While going for main study approval itself, you can ask the IAC. We wanted to conduct a pilot study which requires this number of animals. You can approve it. If pilot study is not successful, we will not conduct the main study. Therefore, we take the approval. This is an inbuilt procedure should be adopted while taking IAS approval in the beginning itself. Otherwise, you can't perform. Just like for even one animal also, you need to take IAC permission. You can't study pilot study just like that. You have to have approval. And also, for example, in a pilot study, whatever the anticipated results you are not getting, then you have to inform the committee in the next IAC meeting. We have taken a pilot approval, we are not getting the intended results, therefore we have not conducted. In the animal usage record, you can show that we have not used animals. That can be done. In that place, you can ask for again one more protocol, because we have not used in the previous study. In the pilot study itself, we have stopped. We wanted to conduct a new experiment. We can ask for it.
One more question, sir. So, is there any IAC objection for conducting training program on animals?
IAS, there is no need to inform IAS for training programs. You should inform the CCSEA.
CCS.
For example, this program is there. To handling procedures, sir.
Yeah, for handling procedure.
For that, you have to request the Animal Ethics Committee. We wanted to conduct a training program, in-house training program. The training will be given to the students, faculty, segregation. This kind of training, for example, pathogen testing. This many number of animals required. This is the testing of this many animals. Blood drawing procedure. This many animals. You put all together and take approval from the IAC. You can't use while taking permission from other protocols. You can't use that animal for this training program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any doubts? Over. Thank you very much.
CCSA guidelines on animal ethics and experimentation. I would like to invite the Dr. P. Praveen Kumar sir to present the certificate to our Dr. Challa Suresh garu.
See, this is the first time I am receiving a certificate signed by myself. In my 28 years of scientific research program, the certificate signed by myself I am receiving. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now there is a break for 15 minutes for